With the first pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Markelle Fultz. The reason why I have Fultz going number one is obviously he's just the most talked about player in this draft. He's been number one in mock drafts for about 3 months now, ahead of Lonzo Ball. He's just a tremendous offense. If you have to watch game tape of him, he's very NBA ready. Um, he can dribble, but he doesn't need to be able to dribble to be effective. Isaiah Thomas can still be the predominant ball playmaker on the team. He's very good off ball at finding himself open, and he just fits Brad Stevens' system very well. He's very limited on defensive end, but I was thinking maybe they could sometimes play Avery Bradley as the small forward, and when he needs to, he can guard some really good twos in the league, and so I don't think defense would be a problem yet. But obviously, he has a lot of defensive potential because he's very explosive. Um, he can spot up and shoot or create his own shot off the dribble, and he just adds an offense that is much needed in the Celtics. I mean, besides Bradley, who's a very improved offensive player in the past couple of years, and Isaiah Thomas, the Celtics are finding the backcourt to have not that much depth offensively. I mean, Marcus Smart can sometimes create his own shot, very good playmaker, but Markelle Fultz just brings his team to a whole new level. He's a very high basketball IQ, and I think he fits the system well. Boston would be crazy to pass on him. This is a very deep draft for guards, but I think Markelle Fultz just fits the system very well and is the clear number one pick this year. With the second pick of the 2017 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Lonzo Ball. I had to do it. When I'm thinking about the mock draft, I try to think that the extra baggage of publicity doesn't really go along with the player, but in Lonzo's case, LeVar has just been an absolute tool over the past year, and that definitely is going to affect his draft stock. But I'd like to think that since LA got the second pick, LA is probably the only franchise that can put up with all of that marketing and all that stuff. So, and it brings a brand to the team. LA desperately needs a guard that can play alongside D'Angelo Russell. They really don't have that much depth. I think they had Clarkson playing as the shooting guard most of the season, but that's definitely not enough in the backcourt. His playmaking ability will work so well with the Lakers' offensive forwards. I mean, with Nick Young, Ingram, they're so good. Randall, they're really good individual players, but they just need a playmaker that can they can make them better, honestly. And I think Lonzo Ball could just make all of those players better around him. He's a better catch and shoot shooter than off dribble, but I mean, Lakers have more than enough ISO players that they can go to, more than enough. He's also very good at the fast break, and he has a very high basketball IQ. So in transition, he'll definitely be able to find the open person for the three or the transition finish. I think his playmaking abilities are obviously the best in the draft. They're just very unique, and that's what prompted him above so many other guards in this draft. He just needs to really improve his free throws and defense. Like, have you seen his free throws? Like, he's got a really good three-point shot. I don't understand how he can miss. I think he's only shooting like 2/3 of his free throws this season. It's quite upsetting. And he does need to improve his defense a bit as well, but that's something that he can definitely improve as it goes on. But he's one of a kind, unique playmaker that LA desperately needs at the moment. So I think he goes second, and I think he's a good pick for LA. With the third pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers are selecting Harry Giles. No fucking way. Can you imagine? No, they actually select Malik Monk. If they selected Harry Giles, Philly fans would fucking flip out. That would be the funniest thing I'd ever see. But there's no way 76ers are picking a big, definitely, especially an injury-prone big. Monk is arguably the most NBA-ready player in this draft. And Philly really needs a very exciting, proven player that can make an immediate impact. I mean, Philly fans are getting really restless with this rebuilding process now. The Eagles were last the NFC this year. The Phillies aren't making any noise this year. And the Sixers just want to push for the playoffs this year so badly. I think that Simmons can be the main playmaker next year, so Monk doesn't really have that playmaking ability, but doesn't really need it. Um, and Monk brings a huge NBA-ready offense to a desperate 76ers team. He can be good with or without the ball in his hand. He's very quick and athletic, and the offense will work really well with Embiid. He's a great ISO player, and I think he just fits very, very well with the Sixers, so Monk's going to go there. With the fourth pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select Frank Nicolina. Now, I know this pick might shock you. Everyone has him falling a bit later, and obviously there are some really incredible players in this draft, but let me tell you why I think the Suns should pick Frank Nicolina. I mean, he's one of the most unique players in the draft. For a point guard, he has a 7-foot wingspan, and it's just incredible. Bledsoe can play the two guard, I reckon, like he did when Gordon Dragic was playing in the Suns. And Booker can also play small forward, I reckon. He's a very, very unique defender on a very great on-ball defender, very great off-ball defender, and a tough matchup for point guards, which is the deepest position in basketball at the moment. He's very, very good in transition, and he'd be so scary with Bledsoe. Like, the Phoenix Suns used to be such a good transition team back in the day with Brandon Knight, Dragic, Thomas, Bledsoe. Like, it was crazy. And he has a really, really great basketball IQ, and I think he would just fit the Phoenix Suns team so, so, so well. He's a great finisher, a great playmaker, and I feel like if the Suns pick him up, they can truly reach the next level and make a push for the playoffs. I'll try and move on a bit faster now. With the fifth pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Justin Patton. I mean, they have two top picks, right? And after trading away Cousins for literally Buddy Hield and some Magic Beans, they really need to make a splash here. They need an exciting player who can bring excitement back to Sacramento. And Patton is just a really, really explosive center. He's great in transition on offense and the defensive thing because he can chase down, block, he can finish. And I know that Collison and Buddy Hield probably won't be able to get it done, but this draft has very, very good depth at guards, and I feel like this would be just the right player to pick at the moment. He has a very good face-up shooting game and can hit a three ball if he has to, if he's wide open, but he has the potential to be an elite three-point shooter if he really wants to. He's got a very, very good all-round game, and he's definitely an NBA-ready player now, and I feel like the Sacramento Kings need someone like him on their team. With the sixth pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Josh Jackson. He's the best player available at this moment, and the Magic aren't really high on Aaron Gordon at the moment, and this would be a sort of adequate replacement. But it would be so crazy if Aaron Gordon and Josh Jackson played together. He has a very, very high potential, very, very good athleticism. He's a lockdown on-ball defender as well, and he could guard all the really good small forwards in the league, like Paul George, LeBron, Durant, Melo, and he's very good without the ball. So the Magic do have DJ Augustine and Elfrid Payton. So although he's not a very good playmaker, his ability to get open and cut to the basket would work very good along with them. And at the very least, he'd be a very, very good trade asset for other teams. So I feel like the Orlando Magic would be very stupid to pass on the opportunity to draft Josh Jackson, and I don't think they will. With the seventh pick in the 2017 NBA draft, my Minnesota Timberwolves select De'Aaron Fox. The Timberwolves are a very good young team coming off a reasonably disappointing season. Fox is a great scorer who isn't afraid to take the big shots, and the Wolves choked a lot of fourth quarter leads last year. He can be a great burst when the team has gone cold. He has decent ball handles, but is only very basic at passing. But honestly, he doesn't need to be great at passing on this Timberwolves team. He's a great slasher on a team that can really stretch the floor with Dieng, Towns, Wiggins, Levine, just to name a few. He's also a very, very explosive player, very NBA ready in terms of confidence, and his D is subpar, but his quickness makes his potential to be a decent defender if he works on it. And he has Tom Thibodeau as a coach, and I'm fairly sure after the season the Timberwolves have had a very bad defense, that Thibodeau's main defensive goal is to work on the defense and make sure it's very, very good for next season. So I've got a lot of faith that that can improve. With the 8th pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Lauri Markkanen. Now, there's a lot of question marks in New York at the moment. Will Porzingis and Carmelo Anthony be a part of the New York franchise next year? Well, Lauri Markkanen is a very good stretch forward that I think that can fit in Phil Jackson's system very well. He's a great spot-up three-point shooter, and he has a great basketball IQ, very high potential, and will have an immediate impact on this Knicks team. He can attack the rim and is a decent ball handler, can close out of stretch forwards well. He doesn't really have that much rebounding, but the Knicks don't really need him to rebound. I mean, they've got Joakim Noah, Carlo Quinn, Hernan Gomez, and even Melo if he decides to stay. And I just think he's a very, very good fit on this Knicks team. I kind of feel bad for New York fans that they fell to the 8th pick, but it's a very, very deep draft. So if you want one year to fall, then this would be the year you'd like to fall. And hopefully he can convince Porzingis and Melo to stay, and the Knicks can be a threat at least to the playoffs next year. With the 9th pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Dallas Mavericks will select Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac would be a steal at the 9th pick, honestly. He's got a 7'1" wingspan, can play the small forward or power forward position as well with whatever. So he can play with Harrison Barnes, with maybe Dirk coming off the bench in his last season. I mean, he's a very good shooter and can learn a lot from Dirk while he's still on the Mavericks. He's a good slasher, very good slasher, and can finish or kick out to all of the Mavs players, which are mainly three-point shooters: Curry, Barea, Barnes, Dirk, He's got very good defensive IQ. He can guard the 3 or 4 position and is a very good rim protector. And he's going to have the potential to be a very good triple threat player. So I think the Mavs should definitely pick up Jonathan Isaac, and at the very least, he'd be a very good trade asset as well. And finally, with the last pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith is probably my favorite prospect in this entire draft. He is so slept on, right? Collison and Buddy Hield isn't enough to get it done in the Knicks backcourt, obviously, and I had them drafting a very explosive center with the 5th pick. Dennis Smith has the offensive scoring ability of pretty much Russell Westbrook. I'm not saying he reminds me of Russell Westbrook, but I mean his scoring ability reminds me of Russell Westbrook. He's extremely explosive, has huge finishes at the rim, has a very good pull-up shot like Westbrook does, very good off-dribble shooter, and great handles. He's very good at creating his own offense, and that would be a really, really great fit in the Kings system. He's really good transition player as well. Can you imagine the Kings having Justin Patton and Dennis Smith? It would make a crazy rookie duo. It would bring excitement back to the crowd at Sleep Train Arena again. Like, I know that Cousins trade wasn't good for Kings fans, but if Patton and Dennis Smith were both on the same team after this draft, that would be an absolute game changer. The Kings would have won the draft easy. He's a very NBA-ready player with an immediate impact, a good ISO player, and a score-first mentality. And I can just imagine him on this Kings team, Tyreke Evans, Rudy Gay. Like this would actually be a pretty decent team, and I reckon it would very much click. So guys, what do you think? Comment down below. I know I've missed out on a few very key players, but that's who I think will go top 10. As I said, it's a very deep draft. So there's probably a lot of players that these teams could pick up as well. Anyone's ball game at the moment. And I'm looking forward to what next season brings, because this draft class is definitely going to be up there as one of the best